This one's gonna suck, I can already tell.
Oh no. Happy Halloween!
Oh my god. It's not Halloween yet, you nerd. But it's not too early.
What are you dressed up as?
Oh, here we go. Off to the races. Welcome to the Liquidity event. We're your hosts, Shane.
I'm AJ, aka Shadow Inflation.
Oh god. That's not a costume. And this is episode number 13 of the Liquidity event being recorded on October 20th. It's not even Friday, the 13th.
It's our 13th episode.
Out
It's
kicking
spooky.
your cover. Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough. This is pretty spooky.
You're spooking me out with your negative attitude.
You're dunking on me for not wearing a costume. You got a hoodie on. For those of you that are just listening to the podcast rather than watching it on Bluetooth, there is a lady in a black hoodie, and she's literally, because the costume is so terrible, has a Post-it note that says shadow inflation on it. You get it? We referenced that last episode. No, kudos to you for getting dressed up.
I love Halloween. I love getting dressed up for Halloween.
What are you going to be for Halloween for real? SPAC, Dr. SPAC, right?
Maybe Dr. SPAC. So
yes,
the costume's not here yet, hence I'm not wearing it.
Wow, I'm the only thing I'm more prepared than you on is Halloween, apparently.
That is true. I feel like that will always be the case. My Halloween costume always looks like this, though. It's usually like me trying to do something dumb and punny and no one getting it, so me writing it on an index card and pasting it to myself.
That's what I did with the death taxes a few years ago. No one gets the financial planning inside jokes.
No.
None of our friends are planners or tax people or anything like that. What are you reading this week?
I'm still reading Leviathan's Wake. Pretty good space opera sci-fi that I love. I'm really, really enjoying it. It took a bit of a super bug pandemic, not pandemic, but like biological weapon turn that I'm really enjoying.
All right. How
about you? What are you
I'm reading the Cliff's Notes to Dune in anticipation of the big release this weekend. I'm going to go see it in IMAX on Sunday.
Nice.
The third attempt at the Dune movie. No-brainer of the week. I'm going to skip ahead to that. If you're into sci-fi and you have not seen the documentary about the unmade Dune movie by Alejandro Jodorowsky, awesome film. And if you're planning on watching it over the next 2 weeks, watch that first. It's very cool.
You just stole my no-brainer.
What?
My no-brainer of the week is literally to watch Dune on HBO Max if you're not excited about going to a theater yet.
That's not the no-brainer. The no-brainer is to watch the documentary about the unmade version of Dune, which is dope.
Well, that's your no-brainer. My no-brainer is to watch the new one.
Yet again, Halloween-wise, I beat you to the punch. All right, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Farm Floor Dry Table Cider. It's tart and earthy. It's got for those not watching, it's a beautiful label. I love this cider. It's sour for those who are sour fans. Are you drinking Jägermeister?
Everyone thinks this is Jägermeister.
What is that?
It's Ardbeg. It's a single malt from Islay. It's my favorite. But they did like a little Halloween taster where they did all their different... It's kind of corny, honestly.
I see small green bottle, and I think
Jägermeister?
A Jägermeister.
In Mississippi, where I grew up, we call this an ass pocket of whiskey.
You're an ass pocket of whiskey.
Maybe that's what I'll be for Halloween. What are you doing for fun? You don't have anything written here. You're not doing anything?
I'm not doing anything for fun.
Come on.
We're doing year-end tax planning meetings for fun.
We're literally doing something for fun tonight.
Yeah, we are celebrating the end of the second longest tax season in history tonight by going to the River Cafe in Dumbo, which is a lovely place.
I've never been because you have to wear a suit jacket to go, and I've been turned away. And I'm gonna pretty woman them tonight. You remember 3 years ago when I came in here?
They didn't say anything about the dress code for women, so I'm gonna wear this.
Yeah, that'll go over.
See what happens.
Great. Since you asked, what I'm doing for fun is I'm doing a haunted escape room on Friday night.
Oh, snap.
If we don't get out, we all die.
Oh, okay. So I can have the rest of the company? Cool.
That's always
welcome to Brooklyn FI.
That's where your mind goes.
I'm your only founder. Ooh, what about a website called Only Founders instead of OnlyFans?
Oh my God.
Anyways.
Let me digest that one. Which reminds me of our very first review, I believe, from YouTube. Mr. Vince M. Valenta commented on the episode Gotta IPO Them All.
Shane, no.
You guys are funny. Stop. And she's hot and smart. So shout out to you, Vance Valente. You guys are funny. and she's hot and smart. So that is interesting. You want to get into IPO calendar?
I would love to get into IPOs. Please move on. All right,
Do you have any
upcoming
comments
IPOs.
on these IPOs as good as that YouTube comment
I
from
do.
Vance Valenta?
I've got
Did you write that? Wait, did you
RS
make
Water.
a fake YouTube?
I'm embarrassed for you that you suggested that. We've got RS Water Solutions raising $318 million. That's all I have to say about that.
Is that, you think that's in tune with the Dune Arrakis, the planet Arrakis? I think that might be why they IPO'd the same week as the Dune release.
That's a great CMO doing their job, right? Let's get all the marketing minds together and plan a campaign.
Right. What else do we have in the upcoming IPO?
I want to do a deep dive into Winc, WINC. Winc is a subscription wine company that's going public. You use Winc? Ever heard of this company?
Girlfriend used it for a while. Classic recurring revenue model like BarkBox. Shout out to all of our BarkBox clients.
Bark.
Big, huge fan. Yeah, well, that was your shout out.
That's my shout out to the BarkBox people.
I think the toys in my BarkBox are getting smaller for the same price.
Is there shadow inflation?
I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
Wait, I forgot to do the soundboard for what we're drinking. Sorry, I'm gonna go back.
You had one job.
I forgot to do the soundboard for IPO Watch, so it's coming on now.
Oh my god, falling apart. Puts on one hoodie. Cool.
Shadow
Do you
inflation.
Dive into
Sorry to our listeners. Same price, same podcast. Not as good service. Apologies, I haven't been that fast on the soundboard.
There we go. All these throwbacks. Let's talk about Winc. Yeah, my girlfriend used Winc for a while. Love when a couple boxes of wine show up at your front door with little cards that describe their flavor palette, their origins, etc. You want to get into the numbers here?
Yeah, let's see. So in 2020, they had a loss of $7 million, but revenue of $64 million. And most recent earnings, $18 million this quarter. So I don't know. We can expect them to be up, right? If we annualize that number, they're going to be probably somewhere around 80 million for the year. So showing a very nice positive trend in revenue. This Winc company. I like this sentence. The company has generated its revenue mainly from its 5 core wine brands, including Summer Water, Wonderful Wine Company, Lost Poet, Folly of the Beast, and Chop Shop. Shane, which of those brands speaks most to you?
Folly of the Beast.
I knew you were going to say that.
That will be my name next week. Although Lost Poet's cool. What I like about this is they got their finger on the pulse of hipsters such as you, and they bought a natural wine company. They did some inorganic growth last year by purchasing the Natural Wine Company. Is that what it's called? I lost it.
Natural Merchants.
Natural Merchants out of Oregon.
Yeah.
So they're going to use the money to continue to do some acquisitions, try to consolidate the fragmented wine market, continue to surprise and delight customers. I don't know. What else would you do with a year's worth of revenue for Brooklyn FI? That's what they're doing. Their revenues are around 90 million, and they're trying to raise 90 million with his IPO, which is essentially 1x their revenue. I guess 1.5x their revenue is what they're trying to come up with here.
I would definitely buy some natural wine companies. So I'm in line with Winc strategy here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that board meeting where you recommend that. Anything else you want to talk about in the Winc space? The owner of the company is 38 years old, from running a Denver-based restaurant, hotel, Pizza Republic. So they're working in the F&B background. Shout out to Jeffrey McFarland. Is he going to make it to the CEO crush of the week?
Perhaps. He's new on my radar this week. Maybe he wants to be on my new app launching soon, onlyfounders.com.
Onlyfounders. Oh my God. I can't. Mine is racing. All right. You want to get into some of the headlines for the week? We've got the SEC reports on options and equity market structure conditions in early 2021. TLDR, it's all about the GameStop. Yeah, we'll get into that. Also in the news, relevant to that, a 7-foot Harambe statue has shown up in Wall Street to face the charging bull. The wealthiest 10% of Americans own a record 90% of all U.S. stocks. We got 3 IPO articles that we're going to dive into here.
It's an IPO Nanza.
Is that a reference? Was that a segue from Harambe? and
Yes,
bananas.
it was bananas.
IPO Harananza. Noah, fintech company in the HELOC space. Shout out to our real estate investors opening up equity line of credits on their homes. And then we got a nice COVID work from home, a fun little theory that we can work from. The department stores are failing. The offices are failing. Let's combine them.
Let's combine two failing businesses and see how it goes.
Yeah. I think that I will save the SEC report for later on in the podcast. Let's do some funny stuff and then dig into I'm going to combine the funny. Okay, first of all.
Don't give away all the secrets at the beginning.
Got to make them wait for it. You save the cliff. Yeah, the big guy for last. Do you want to do this income inequality article from, what is it, CNBC?
Yeah, I mean, this is the headline is.
Any surprises here?
No, I have no hot takes here. This article is zero surprises. The wealthiest 10% of Americans own a record 89% of all U.S. stocks. What does that tell us? Rich people are richer than ever, doing very well. The U.S. stock market has taken us into another decade of growth. And big surprise, if you've got money to invest, you're buying equities, and equities are going on a bonanza run. The top 1%, love our 1%ers. They gained over 6.5 trillion in corporate equities and mutual fund wealth during the pandemic alone. So in the past 18 months, we're adding 6.5 trillion to that 1%er pot. And that's data according to the Federal Reserve. And the bottom 90%, just to flip that number on its head, the bottom 90% of Americans hold only about 11% of stocks and added only 1.2 trillion to their wealth. So 90% of Americans sharing 1 trillion, 1% splitting 6.5 trillion. So wealth inequality. A president, 6 presidents ago, told us that money would trickle down. I don't think it's doing well. I don't think it's trickling. I think that 6.5 trillion is staying up at the top, and I don't think it's getting taxed as it's going to the next generation.
Au contraire, I have a opposing theory. It is, in fact, trickling down. Trickle was the right word.
That's what they meant by trickle down?
Yeah, that's what he meant. Eventually, it will trickle out, and it will, I mean, there was an addition of wealth to the bottom 90% of Americans, was there not? What was that number you said? $1.5 trillion?
1.2 trillion.
That seems like a trickle when there's a large dam and there's just a little stream running out of the side, a little trickle.
Yeah, 90%. 90%. Oy.
What's wrong with it? They didn't lie. Back in 82, 86.
They did not. Trickle down economics, folks. As
it's
redefined
working.
by Shane
It's
Mason.
working.
You heard it here. we gave you $1 trillion. What are you complaining about?
It's trickling. Do you want to do some IPOs? You've got the fire pit maker.
Oh my God, there's so many IPOs. We also, I think we've talked about WeWork a lot, and that's not an IPO, that's a SPAC.
Totally forgot.
It's happening tomorrow, but by the time this podcast airs, it will have already been public for 2 business days. Do you have any predictions of how the WeWork SPAC debut is going to go on Thursday?
Not uneventful is what I will predict.
I mean, most SPACs are, right? Out of the gate, that's the idea, is that the price is sort of already predetermined, and we'll see what happens in day 1 of trading and hope for the best. We've got some WeWork clients, so we are rooting for them. Some potential life changers in there. Yeah, it was a rough. We have some WeWork clients. They had a rough experience trying to get out the door in the IPO earlier. Was that in 2020? No, that was 2019.
Oh my God, time.
That was 2 years ago.
Is a concept. Good Lord. Yeah. Well, they're finally making it out the door. They're going to experience some liquidity. They had a new CEO that came in after Adam Newman had to au revoir with $1 billion.
Excuse himself from the table. Mom, I finished all my broccoli. Can I have $1 billion?
Yes.
And wreaked havoc on this company.
Yes. I have created a nightmare culture, auf Wiedersehen, with a bill. Well, at least they're going to experience some liquidity at last. So good for those WeWork employees that have held on to their equity, and they're finally going to experience some reward for their work besides their normal salaries. You've got the fire pit maker Solo Brands is filing for a U.S. IPO. What do you have to say about
Well, at first I thought it was Solo Cup.
Right. You thought Solo Cups was finally late
Yeah, and
blooming
I was calling the top, which I actually wanted to define what, like, we joke about, like, calling the top of the market, and we joke about it because essentially for the past 12 years now, a lot of finance pundits are like, well, we've got WeWork going public, and we've got marijuana companies and Bitcoin. Like, this must be the top of the market. Like, this is a big crash is coming. Like, people
I'm
have been.
I'm not following you.
You're not. I'm trying to explain like the top of the market. When
Wait,
someone calls the top.
whose accent was that? What accent?
I don't know. It's a mishmash.
Was that
it's a mishmash.
Is that a cigar smoking Wall Street type?
Yeah, exactly. It's someone who's out of touch. That's my
wasn't
definition.
A regional. Was that a southern gentleman?
No, it's a composite of an out of touch older gentleman who's calling the top. So I was joking that I was calling the top because Solo Cups are going public, but in fact, Solo Cups are not going public. It's actually fire pit maker Solo Brands. I bought one of these for my sister last year for her birthday. She loves it. It's like a portable fire pit that doesn't require you to burn logs. So apparently, people who have backyards are buying these tools, and now this company is going public.
There's a market for it. I'm calling the top. We've got Rent the Runway, also shooting for an IPO, also unprofitable company. Commentary?
As a former connoisseur of Rent the Runway, I have no idea how this company can possibly make any money.
You didn't enjoy the service?
I loved the service. It was a little too expensive for me. Also, I stopped going anywhere because of the pandemic, and now I work from home. They would send me amazing designer clothes that I loved, and I would wear them and send them back to them. I was
Gucci?
doing the math. Yeah,
Oscar de la Renta?
Not that high end, more like mid-market. Like, I don't know. I can't think of any. My mind is blank on
I named two.
Fashion.
Wow.
Yeah, you clearly know so much more about fashion than I do. So how can I possibly speak on this
Next
topic?
episode, we'll be doing a deep dive into Zara's background and their IPO.
Yeah. Anyway, I wish this company well, but I don't see a path to profitability of got to lay out a bunch of cash to buy these clothes from designers, rent them out, high storage costs, cleaning fees, sure, the tech was actually really cool. Like, the tech was very good. The app was like super, super solid. So I don't know if that can be repackaged as something, but seems like a risky retail expensive business with unfortunately decimated by the pandemic because no one has anywhere to go and wear these outfits anymore.
Segue of the year. Speaking of decimated retail pandemic related pivots, meet me in my office in men's underwear on 5. We got a COVID work from home article. Dish it. What you got?
We got Saks pairing up with WeWork to basically there's like WeWork at Saks, so you can go co-work not from the WeWork building because they probably got out of those leases because they're broke. Right. They're like, oh, let's use this empty, beautiful department store that's well lit, and let's install some fast Wi-Fi, and you can have the coffee. So now you can work from Saks Fifth Avenue, and that's where you can say your office is. 2
borderline bankruptcies coming together to support one another.
I mean,
friends in low places.
I love this idea. I mean, I don't know if this is a female. I don't want to stereotype.
The name
anybody.
of this article should have been "Friends in Low Places." I'm gonna email the byline here.
Yeah, I mean they're calling it Saks Works, right? Which is cute. But the reason why I think this might work
that's the male version of the wing.
True. Oh man, remember R.I.P. to the wing. Oof. I wish.
Did they go under?
I don't know. They got hit pretty hard. I don't know. I think they've either closed or are not.
Join us next week when we figure that out.
I wish this podcast had been in existence during the wing drama of 2020. Anyways, I like this idea because why I think it's gonna work is because being in a department store it's a lovely place. It's well lit. It smells nice. Like,
air conditioned.
Yeah, like the vibe of going into Saks is
plenty of square footage to get away. Privacy.
They've spent decades thinking about how to craft the perfect environment. So what better place to get work done? I think if I worked out at Saks, I would leave with thousands of dollars of Marc Jacobs shoes, which is also the point. So I think I'm into this idea. It's a thumbs up from me. All
right. Well, in that case, bless. Fintech space, you've got another IPO. Well, this isn't an IPO. Noah. Why do they name it Noah, do you think?
I don't know.
They're in the HELOC space. Let's do it. You want me to do the HELOC and you do the article?
Tell me about a HELOC. What's a HELOC?
HELOC.
Also, shout out to Phil, one of our favorite clients ever, for turning me onto this product. I had never heard of this. Phil was like, "You heard of this company, Noah?"
Okay. Shout out to Phil.
Love you, Phil.
If you're listening, HELOC, aka great acronym, a home equity line of credit. You're allowed, essentially, if you have equity in your home, you've lived there long enough to pay down some of the balance on the principal. You pay principal and interest each month. Eventually, you'll have some equity in the home. You can get an appraisal if it has increased in value since you bought it in the near term. If you have enough equity, you can essentially borrow against that equity. It's collateralized at the bank, so you can get a really low interest rate, south of 5%. Even collateralized loans on like equity positions or stock positions are going to be typically interest rates of 9% and above. Credit cards, of course, being at the highest end, over 20%. A HELOC is a great way to get a super low interest rate on a loan, right? So you borrow against the value of your house, home equity line of credit. You can come up with multiple six figures in cash should you need it, whether it's to exercise stock options or to do a renovation on the home, whatever you need the money for. So Noah is a fintech solution in the HELOC space. Tell me what they do.
Yeah, so they're effectively using the HELOC model of using equity in your home, but it's not. I guess it's a loan, and they're going to participate in the exit of your home in the future. So let's say you want to borrow. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
VC money in your home. Finally, private equity has entered retail home equity lines of credit.
Private equity has entered the chat. Yeah, so...
God damn it.
I'm so hot in this fucking hoodie.
So am I. I'm sweating.
Oh my God. Horrible idea. Now I just look like I did really bad at makeup, which we'll get to later. Yeah, so the idea here is, let's say your home's worth $1 million, you need $200,000 to do a renovation. Maybe you need $200,000 to exercise your stock options, right? You need some money. You can use it for whatever you want. Maybe you got to pay off some high interest student loans, and this company Noah is going to give you that cash at a super low rate. Actually, it's not even a rate. They give you the cash. And then you got to pay them back, and then they get a participation percentage in your eventual sale. So I don't know what their numbers are here. Haven't had anyone go through this process, but Noah, I've got my eyes on you. Excited to see what you can do for this space. Something we noticed about HELOCs over the past year was banks really clamped down on HELOCs. It was really hard for our clients to actually get these loans, even if they had great credit, even if they had plenty of equity in their homes. So Noah saw a gap in the market and took it.
Love to see it. All right. Well, let's dive into the SEC report on the...
Tell it to me straight. I thought I had a good segue, but I don't.
Well,
gamify it for me.
Sure. I'll do my best. What I love about the article, first of all, it's got a terrible title, and this is written by the SEC. This is a government entity that regulates, which stands for the Securities and Exchange Commission, regulates public companies. They are the watchdog of public companies, and they will enforce the rules, right? There are many rules. A lot of our clients are subject to trading rules, privacy rules, etc. And they have this article that they wrote on, it's called the Staff Report on Equity and Options Market Structure Conditions in Early 2021, which tells you nothing about what the article is actually about. It's about meme stocks. The SEC wrote an entire 45-page article about meme stocks, and they call them meme stocks the whole time. And it is essentially a rundown of the GameStop, quote unquote, debacle that happened on Wall Street Bets on Reddit, and all of the intricacies of what happened back then. For a reminder of what happened back then, there was a short squeeze on the GameStop stock. And there was a ton of GameStop, the failing brick and mortar retail company, suddenly had a large number of, their value of their stock was like somewhere around $10. And then some trader on Reddit, on the subreddit Wall Street Bets, realized that the stock had been squeezed or had been shorted up to 100% of the shares. So that means that 100% of the shares have been borrowed by a hedge fund, by everyone on the market. And ostensibly, had tried to push the price down. They borrow the shares, they push the price down, and then they get to buy them at the lower price and sell them at the higher price, so they get to benefit on the delta. This person spread the news on Reddit, and so quote unquote so-called apes on this subreddit suddenly purchased as many shares as they could of the stock, driving the price up to $400 a share, which means that these hedge funds, which they borrowed the stock at $10, would have to purchase it at $400, which would definitely bankrupt the company. That hedge fund is what would have to happen in that scenario. To the moon with GameStop. There was a few other meme stocks that were involved that are mentioned in this report. Dillard's, for example, which is we just talked about earlier. AMC Theaters, generally anything during COVID that required you to visit it in person. The reason I want to bring up this article is that it defines, like the SEC does a great job of defining what short selling is, what a hedge fund is, what a meme stock is, believe it or not. There's fantastic footnotes that say like a naked short sell is when this and this happens. And I'm just so captivated by the millennials or whoever wrote these articles. They actually make it like really digestible, a really good explainer. So if like you just want to get an idea of like a really good article on how to understand the stock market in general, because they explain the 16 different types of exchanges that happen when you actually execute a trade, how that happens. Like it explains how Robinhood, they don't get paid by you, but they do get paid by shifting your orders to buy and sell stocks to these nefarious other entities with these off-exchange markets that offer lower and higher prices than what you would normally get on an exchange where you actually pay for it. It's just really insightful. And anyone that really wants to do a bunch of day trading or consider themselves a intelligent investor, I think would really get a good kick out of the read. So big ups to them. And a lot of retail investors have been waiting for this article to come out. The conclusion is essentially that one of the great lines from the article is right at the end when they conclude that meme stocks are essentially real people and real companies with employees that have dreams and hopes for the future. It's like literally what it says. Meme stocks are real people, which is just beautiful.
I love your enthusiasm for this article, and I'm reading it as like, isn't it amazing when like these government entities that you hear so much about like actually do really good work? Like, yes. I agree. Like I read part of this, like it's so exciting. It's like, oh, this is the SEC is a regulatory body that is designed to protect the average investor and inform. Yeah. And this is what they're doing. They're protecting and informing us. They'll be like, all right, everyone, let's take a moment. Sure, it took them, 6 months to get, or more than that, right? Was that a year ago?
It was in essentially January, February of 2021, so 9 months ago.
Yeah, okay. All right. So this year, like it took them a little while, but they got it together. They did research. I'm sure they hired some smart people. This probably went through like 6 different levels of like edits and bureaucracy. And now there's like this amazing document that explains this moment in history that's accessible. It's fun to read. This does not read like a government report. Like I'm as excited as you are.
Yeah, there's cute footnotes like how to open a brokerage account. And you go to the SEC's website, it's like what to watch out for. And it's like this great informative, cute, like it's like a blog like on NerdWallet, which we need to talk about coming up, IPOing soon. All right, we don't have a ton of time left, so let's wrap. We got no-brainers of the week, which we already stole. I already stole yours. Your no-brainer.
Which is to watch Dune when it comes out, the new Dune, when it comes out this Friday on HBO Max from the comfort of your own home.
Well, I burgled your thunder there earlier. My no-brainer of the week is to buy a fireproof and waterproof safe, $60 to $90. Put it under your bed. If your house burns down like mine did 7 years ago, then you can just dig out all your passports, etc. You've got a crush of the week this week. There it is. Tell me about it.
My crush of the week is Emily Weiss, who is the CEO of Glossier. I am not wearing any Glossier makeup at this point because I look insane, but most days I am wearing a full face of Glossier makeup. Incredible company. Started as a blog where Emily would interview celebrities and writers and regular people about their makeup routine and their skincare routine. I've been a fan of theirs for almost a decade now. Launched this beauty brand, targeted millennials, genius marketing. Really thoughtful about their customer first, incredible supply chain. I love this company, Glossier. Emily Weiss, I've got a crush on you. You're my CEO crush of the week.
Love to see it. Shout out
That's
to
the
EW.
show.
Yeah, you want to read us out?
Email us at liquidityevent@brooklynfi.com. Leave us a voicemail. We might play it on the air. That's podinbox.com/theliquidityevent. Show notes, brooklynfi.com/episode 13. I have been
Spooky.
your shadow inflation. Shane has been Spooky Shane 2021. See you guys next week.